Thank you. Today's meeting of the Brownfields Advisory Board is called to order. Today, April 29th, 2024. Welcome, everyone. Agendas of today's meeting are on the wall at the entrance to chambers. Please remember to turn off your cell phones. To ensure a complete record of the board's actions, we ask that each individual wishing to speak clearly state your name and spell your last name for the clerk. I will ask the board members to introduce themselves and identify board positions you each represent, whether it's a resident or business owner or representative or an agency of a governmental organization. We'll start with Ms. Branch.
Good morning, Janelle Branch, small business owner in downtown Clearwater, currently holding the position as vice chair.
Ms. Carter. Is there Ms. Carter? Okay. Ms. George.
Good morning. My name is Katrina George. I'm the Vice President for Powerful Young Adults Incorporated here in Clearwater.
Thank you. Ms. Marshall.
Good morning, my name is Mahaley Marshall. I am a resident.
Mr. Henson.
Good morning. My name is Thomas Henson Jr. I'm a small business owner up in the North MLK area in the city of Clearwater.
Thank you. Mr. Kirkpatrick.
Phil Kirkpatrick with Economic Development at the City of Clearwater.
Mr. Sheeler.
Jarvis Sheeler. I'm the Environmental Inspector for Public Works Environmental Engineering.
And I'm the board chair, Mark Perry. I'm a governmental representative for the city of Clearwater. We'll get on to item 2, which is approval of the minutes. Our second order is to approve the minutes of the board's February 17th, 2023 meeting. May I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I so move.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, minutes are approved. Item 3, are citizens to be heard regarding items not on the agenda? Is there anyone here to speak to items not on today's agenda? And I'm seeing none, so we'll move on to the next item. Item 4 is new business items. 4.1, report of funds grants awarded. Mr. DeSico will verbally report on what funds and grants have been awarded.
Yes, we've had a few grants that we've issued. We recently did some drawdown.
Sit down, just talking to the mic, don't leave here.
We've had several grants that we've done and projects that we've completed. One site was 900 Palmetto. Another was the Mod Wash on Belcher. We've done several Phase 1 assessments of downtown properties for some developers. We've actually drawn down about $155,000 worth of money for the $300,000 grant. So we've got a few more that I'd like to talk about pending for the next item, and then like to get your approval through a vote. And those are the flyers that I handed out before, but I'll go over those in a minute.
Okay, great. All right, thank you so much. Are there any comments or questions from the board?
I have a question. Due to the fact that I am very new on this board, I haven't been privy to the information on the grants. Is there a way that I can get a copy of that grant information
Oh,
so
absolutely.
that I can understand?
Yeah, absolutely. I could send it over to you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right. 4.2. Our next item is a report of received or pending applications for environmental grants. Mr. DeSico, would you review any filed or pending applications?
Yeah, we have two current applications that are in right now. One is the former Payon property, and that's located on on South Fort Harrison. It's three buildings, three properties, and they currently operate as a florist and office buildings. It's about a little over half an acre. In the 60s and 70s, it operated as a pest control business. And through mishandling of the pesticides, the site does have soil and groundwater contamination. They've been assessing the site since the early 1990s, but they're making progress of late with new ownership. So they're seeking a grant in $60,000, the amount of $60,000 to complete supplemental assessment, cleanup planning, and remediation funding. Stantec is the consultant for the project, and they're looking to use, once they redevelop the property, they're looking to do a mixed-use commercial residential property uses there.
Have they been to a BPRC meeting yet or anything like that? Or?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Yeah, they may want to consider sooner rather than later.
They're still in the assessment phase, so they haven't
Fair enough.
gotten that far yet.
Yeah, just a heads up.
I have a question.
Yeah, are there any questions or comments from the board, please?
Joe, you mentioned that it's under new ownership. Did that recently transfer?
I would have to look, but I think it has, yes.
When I was involved more intimately in this, the prior owners had applied, but they had failed to do a phase one
Okay.
prior to acquisition, so they were disqualified from
Yeah,
the
this
grant.
phase one has been completed.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Is the HEP side, is that on the next agenda item?
Yes, but I would like to vote on approving this application because there is remediation funding involved.
Okay, fair
So-
enough.
So that would have to go for your review and approval and through a vote, and then I can move forward with the application. And EPA and DEP still have to approve all this, so it's just for us to move forward. You guys would have to approve it.
And-
Mr. Chair, may I ask the staff a question? Do you want the motion to include the amounts that they're requesting along with the, approving the application with the amount, or just so that you can move forward reviewing the application?
Yeah, just so I can move forward with my portion of it, because there's other approvals that have to come along, and the funding may change.
Okay, so a motion to approve, to review the request, the application would be appropriate.
Yes.
I'm just trying to help the board members in terms of what the motion should be.
Thank you.
So it's not actually issuing the grant itself. It's really a motion to approve staff to continue reviewing the application.
To continue processing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
One other question is, I may not remember it correctly. You said you'd placed 195 out of the 300. Did I misunderstand that?
Oh, no, it's 155.
Sorry, 155. So this would add to that potentially 60,000.
That's correct.
We have 300 in that grant,
That's correct. So we have 145.
but we do have extra funds
We do.
in
That's
the loan
correct.
program.
Yes, we do.
Okay. I just want to make sure we weren't overcommitting.
So at this point, we're just committing to having staff continue to review the application
Yeah,
for appropriateness.
yes.
Do I have a motion
Motion to approve the
to approve?
review.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those against? Hearing none, it sounds like it went unanimously.
Thank you. Now, moving on to the next site, the next project that we have. This is it's the Homeless Empowerment Program site. It's located on North Betty Lane, just north of Overbrook. It's a vacant lot currently. It's about 2.15 acres, and it previously operated as an auto salvage yard and an auto repair facility. Contamination related to that, obviously, is always an issue. It includes hydrocarbons and lead in the soil. They began assessment at this site in 2021. The applicant is seeking We're requesting $95,000 to complete the supplement assessment and cleanup planning and remediation funding. Paxson is the environmental consultant for this project, and HEP plans to build between 32 and 38 affordable residential apartments for low-income, working-class families and veterans with minor children. I'll take any questions.
Do you, I'm gonna guess that the zoning is probably commercial. Do you know off the top of your head?
I don't know off the top of my
That's
head.
what
I
I
know
was
they-
gonna ask, because if I may, being familiar with that area down there and the auto shops that was down there, and of course, the area they're talking about kind of goes down to the waterfront part in there. Are they still dredging in that area?
I believe that's completed. Yeah, that was a city project that's been completed for a number of years.
'Cause the reason I asked that, I know that that's part of our reason for being here is the clear of contaminated areas and things. But there was a lot that went down into that area, so. I'll put that on hold. I'll put it on hold.
Okay.
So, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, and I have a concern as a homeowner in that area with the overabundance of low-income properties being placed in one area, which is also bringing down our home values. In addition to broadening the area and building it up, we also want to maintain our property values within that community.
Well, to address your question, the site will be brought to residential standards if they're going to do residential development. That would be overseen by FDEP and approved by them before any of that could happen.
But we've been flooded in that area with a lot of, with all of the issues within the Betty Lane area. And I do live right off of Betty Lane with the overabundance of homelessness projects and all of the other issues that are being brought into North Greenwood. It just seems to me that some of this stuff needs to be spread out throughout the city. North Greenwood has always been a vessel to assist, but we also need to be mindful that we as homeowners are looking to maintain our property values in these areas as well. And we want to maintain also a standard of living within that area.
I understand.
Is the proposed project going to be basically a homeless, like an intervention and housing placement project, or is it more of basically a standard attached dwelling project that happens to meet federal guidelines for the definition of affordable housing?
I think with the way HEP operates, they use it as a way to get people back on their feet and to get going, and that's how their other facilities operate,
Right.
if I'm not mistaken.
But I'm assuming since it's called residential 2 to 3 bedroom apartments, that they'll be that there'll be full dwelling units, which would include the provision of full living areas, kitchens, bathrooms. So basically, it'll be an apartment complex.
That's correct.
According to the zoning, it shows to be commercial,
Right.
so under live local.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, under Live Local, they should be able to come through as a minimum standard development, which doesn't require, unless they're looking for setback reductions or parking reductions or anything like that. And that may be another project, just as a heads up, that they want to go through a pre-application of BPRC meeting.
Absolutely. And again, like the former project, this is the very early stages of it. It's the environmental portion that happens long before any of that usually does. And again, we're just approving the environmental cleanup. The project would have to go through all the other processes to get approved. But we are just approving the funding to clean the site up.
Question, does the developer have any other projects in the Clearwater area?
I'm not aware of that. I don't believe so.
I think all this stuff is geared right in that quorum that they acquired, and which is all going all the way up to Paramount and going back down to in the Betty Lane area, and it's true, it was a lot of contamination over there. Yeah, it was a lot because you had auto mechanic shops, guys changing oil, they was dumping stuff that wasn't properly done. So I guess maybe what my next question would be, and if we move forward to help them clean this up, where do, and this, I know it's not our thing to look at, but where does the zoning of the building as far as children and everything, and then because contaminated soil and everything with lead and everything in it harms children and elderly more than it harms anyone else. And you're talking about, and leading this, you're talking about low-income families, veteran families, and I already know it's a lot of veterans that's over there that have problems. I'm a veteran myself, and I deal with some of these guys, and know that they already have problems. So, I have no problem with us trying to get it cleaned up as long as it's going in the right direction. Sometimes people request us to do things, but then once we put our stamp on it, then it goes in a different direction. So
Yeah, well,
so I don't know how much oversight we have on that as far as the city. By this being HEP, they've been around a long time, going all the way back to Otis Green back in the day. So they've been around a long time, and they have done good things. And I know some of the people on the board of directors, one reason they was able to accumulate that veteran thing, because the board of directors consisted of VA doctors, lawyers. They had a good board of directors over there to guide them. So, but I'm just wondering how much oversight is the city really putting into this and keeping tab on everything that's being done. I mean, you got a project that's going, but sometimes we take our hands off of making sure everything go right.
Yeah, absolutely. Once if this is approved by the board and we move forward with Brownfield grant money to pay for this, it'll be under the watchful eye of myself, the EPA, DEP. This will all be done with a lot of people looking over the site. So this will be cleaned up and taken to a residential standard if they're going to build residential properties on there. So it'll be safe for everybody living at that property.
Are there different standards based on the final proposed use, whether that's residential or commercial or parks and recreation?
Absolutely. DEP has different standards for commercial sites, commercial industrial versus residential properties, parks, or that type of use. They have very different standards and strict application of those. So
It occurs to me, to the benefit of the neighborhood, getting it cleaned up regardless of its ultimate use would be beneficial. The point of ultimate use is not our area, but it really, consideration needs to be given, of course.
So I guess the question before the board is similar to just the previous one. We're voting to approve or not, directing city staff to continue with their review of the application.
that's correct.
Okay.
Are there any other comments or questions? Then I would put it to the board. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those against? Hearing none, passes unanimously. Thank you. So now I think we're up to item 5.1. Our next item is the Brownfield Project Manager Report. This is the Mr. DeSico?
Yeah,
But may I?
yes.
I understood we were also going to discuss South Washington.
Actually, we're not going to discuss that one.
Okay,
And I'll explain that to you.
that's fine. Sorry for the
Oh,
interruption.
yeah, no worries.
Okay. Well, I know we had talked about meeting more often at our last meeting. We really came out like gangbusters when it first started. We had a lot of grants and a lot of applications, and then it kind of stalled. And I think with brownfield development, it's very cyclical to the real estate market. And that's been only recently have we had a couple of these new projects pop up, and I've got another one that I'll be possibly moving forward with too. So we're approaching the end of the grant for the MAC grant that ends at the end of September of this year. We still have funding available for remediation projects and other projects. We have quite a bit of money left. We have about $680,000 in that grant, or in that account. So we'll still be doing brownfield. I don't know if we'll be applying for another assessment grant. I'll have to talk to higher ups and see what they'd like to do with that. But in the meantime, I'm going to work on setting up another meeting. I know we have until September, so I want to maybe push it out a couple months and have one, and then we'll have one to kind of wrap up at the end of that grant. So we'll do a couple more over the next 6 months, let's say, and I'll start emailing earlier for schedules and that sort of thing too, just to make sure everyone's available. And I really am very happy to see the turnout today. I was very, very happy to see it. I'm glad to see you all here, and look forward to having another meeting pretty soon, sooner than we did before. So.
Well, it's only been just over a year since our last meeting, which is actually technically more frequent than it was prior.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So you're working your way up.
Mr. Chair, may I ask the members, is this time frame a good time spot to meet? Just the first, I guess, rather the last Monday at this time? Does it work for everyone? Just so that he knows. And what I would ask to make it easier to make sure that staff has a quorum, because that's important. I love the fact that everybody's here, or just about everybody's here. But it would be helpful if we know to avoid this time frame, or does it work? If it works, only if it's a short meeting, it'll be helpful for Mr. DeSico.
And I promise I'll schedule after the library opens, so everybody's not standing outside and it's stuck out. I apologize for that. I had no idea that it didn't open until 10.
Fair enough.
But the only thing that I have to say is that when I get this email and everything, my wife and I, and the reason I wasn't here the last time is we've been backing and forth to the doctor, and they've been checking for cancer, and she went through the worst of it, and thank God with prayers that everybody that I encountered with, when they did the procedure and everything, when they came back and they found out that she didn't have cancer, but they got rid of the pain that was causing her, because they almost made a drug addict out of her, but putting on those narcotics, which I agree. And then my thing is that I have to go in for a procedure, and they looking because they're trying to figure out where blood is going at, and they can't seem to find this out. And I don't know what it is with me and my wife, but we got some of the best doctors, but they don't know what's happening with our blood. That would be my only thing, and I would try to if it come up to that point when something is scheduled, to give you time to do the time notice, because my doctor's appointments get scheduled out almost like a month in advance. Because I've got 2 different sets of doctors, one with the military and one private, and make sure that they both looking at the same thing, so.
Well, maybe I'll set up the dates soon, like in the next couple of weeks. I'll send out an email with the proposed dates, and then everybody can chime in. And we have the requirements of the sunshine law, so we have to be careful with the reply all and everything. But you can reply to me directly. Just don't reply all. That's kind of where we can put that warning at the bottom of each email. If you just reply to me directly, you can talk to me directly that way. But I'll send an email out, and we'll set a couple of dates that look good. One, in the middle, and then one towards the end, so we can kind of wrap everything up with the MAC grant. And we'll send it out. I'll send it out soon. That way everybody's got it on their calendar, and I'll just send out a reminder as we approach. Maybe even a couple of weeks reminder out.
But generally, mid-morning is fine.
Yeah.
Yes,
Is that good? Okay.
Mr. DeMarco, DeCicco, how do you pronounce your name?
It's DeCicco.
DeCicco.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate a little bit on what the MAC grant is?
It's a assessment, and it's a assessment and cleanup grant. You can use that money. It's from the EPA. You can use that money for site assessment and remediation planning or cleanup planning.
Thank you.
Are there any other comments or questions on the manager report? All right, seeing none. Our next item is election of officers. The next item on the agenda is election of officers for this term. There will be a chair and a vice chair. The chair shall preside over the meetings, and the vice chair shall act in the absence of the chair. Nomination of officers shall be made from the floor, and the election shall be held immediately. The candidate receiving a majority vote shall be declared elected. I will be happy to take nominations for the chair at this time.
I would like to nominate Mark Perry to continue as chairman.
Second.
You guys are ganging up. I guess we'll take a vote on that. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Passes.
I will be sort of out of town a lot, so. we
Oh.
need to-
Oh, so, all right. So you're not going to be here a lot.
No.
Okay, well, I'll be happy to take nominations for vice chair at this time.
Mrs. Carter?
George?
George?
Are you nominating Ms.
Yes,
George?
yes. Mrs.
Is there a second?
Second.
2
Yes.
seconds, so that's fourths. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Hearing none? Passes unanimous. Sorry about your luck.
The name.
Item 6, board members to be heard. The next item is for board members to be heard as acting chair, I suppose. I'm acting as a chair. Do any board members have any old or new business to discuss?
I think, subject to the wishes of city management, I think applying for a new round on the MAC grant makes sense so that we maintain funding specifically for the assessment and planning piece. So just for what it's worth, I think it's a worthwhile endeavor.
Any other comments? Bad jokes?
I'm good with mine right now.
Okay. In that case, I'll adjourn the meeting. Our next board meeting will be scheduled to occur 60-ish days from today.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Okay. Subject to receipt of applications or other pertinent business. We will meet here in council chambers, main library, and the board is adjourned. Thank you.
All right.